In the upcoming clip of Noam Chomsky, he argues that the current gun culture is a manufactured phenomenon, created by the public relations industry in the early 20th century. They romanticized the Wild West and used it to sell more guns to civilians. Chomsky points out that the U.S. is a major outlier when it comes to gun ownership. The U.S. has a tiny percentage of the world's population but holds a massive share of the world's civilian firearms. Now off to this wonderful clip of Chomsky, and following it some other key points from him.
A third point, which is fundamental, is a disease of the society that is the gun culture. It's insane. There's no society in which people walk around with assault rifles. In which, if you ask people today, what's in the Constitution, the first thing they'll say is Second Amendment. It should be understood that that is a public relations scam. It was invented. The gun culture was invented by the gun manufacturers in the late 19th century as the first major, huge propaganda campaign of the public relations and advertising industry. After the the Civil War, there was a radical decline in market for gun sales. The government didn't want them. European wars were declining. How are they going to sell these fancy guns? It was an agricultural society. Every farmer had a musket, say, to scare off a coyote or something. But they didn't want the fancy stuff that the gun manufacturers were producing. They therefore created an image of the Wild West, which never existed. You know, the sheriff fast on the draw, Buffalo Bill, the whole nonsense, all concocted. It sold. When I was a kid, I believed it. Other people believe it. The bottom line is you better buy your son a Winchester. He won't be a real man. This all expands into a culture in which massive supply of guns everywhere. It was all intensified radically in 2008 when the Supreme Court's Heller decision reversed 100 years of precedent and turned gun rights into a holy writ. A very dishonest decision, I should say, could go into it. But all of this has created a gun culture with just massive killing going on all the time. Now that affects the police. When they move to direct police work, they have to expect that they're running into an armed population. That doesn't happen in other countries. It's one fundamental factor that has to be overcome.
Chomsky sees a connection between economic insecurity and the prevalence of guns. People feeling powerless and anxious may be more likely to seek security in gun ownership. Chomsky believes the Supreme Court's interpretation of the Second Amendment, emphasizing individual gun ownership rights, ignores the historical context of a well-regulated militia. Well, I hope you liked the video and give the channel a subscribe. Thanks to the people who have joined the channel and become a member, it is greatly appreciated. Now, take care and bye-bye.